A couple of weeks ago, I did a video on getting business-to-business leads from the um, company called Leadfeeder. And just the other day, I got a telemarketing call from another similar company who delivers the same thing. And both of them were fairly comparative as far as the paid versions, which range from about $60 to $400 a month. And if you're in a small business, especially, and you're in the business of selling things to other businesses, that might be a lot of money. Might not, it might. It depends. What it comes down to is convenience, though, because it is convenient to know what other companies are visiting your website, and therefore, they're as good a lead as anything. They've expressed some sort of interest in your business and what you do, but just by visiting your website. So they're handy to have and they're valuable as leads. But in this case, you have to buy them. One of the nice things about Leadfeeder is that if you don't use a paid subscription, the free version will still get you the businesses that have visited you in the last week, the last 7 days, I think, which in my case are these here: SciCap, Trek Tex, HubSpot, Triparts, Nachman Associates, and some others. Blah, 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 blah. Air France, 6 Rent-A-Car US, and a lot of City of Embryville, California. A lot of times, this can be really valuable. For example, some of them, if you click on the little profile link here in Leadfeeder, it'll show you data they've compiled, such as their website, their LinkedIn site, LinkedIn employees, and those can be handy. They save you a little bit of work. Arguably, you can very easily do that yourself if you don't have the money to spend for a paid campaign or a paid subscription to one of these services. But I thought, everything on the web has always traditionally had a version that's free, and it's usually not as good as the paid version. It doesn't deliver quite as much as the paid version. But depending on your situation, a lot of times the free version is really what you need, at least to start out, to test the waters, to see if any of this is actually going to work for you. So, the purpose of this video is because I wanted to find that free version of a site like this that isn't dependent on the parent company as much. In this case, Leadfeeder, this is a fun little service as long as Leadfeeder is around, as long as they feel like continuing to give you this service. So, I don't know how long that'll be. Maybe it'll be forever, maybe it won't. But obviously they have to pull their data from somewhere. The obvious place that they pull their data is from analytics, specifically Google Analytics, because Google Analytics obviously has all that data about what websites come to your company. It's just knowing where to look to find it and, clearing out the clutter. So if we go over to analytics, if you don't have analytics and you have a business website, you really have to start at the beginning and get Google Analytics installed on your website. For example, here's Google Analytics pertaining to my website, Specialized Digital Marketing. And I'll just look at the overview here. If I can get over to the side panel and go down there. Here we go. It's creeping. Come on. There we go. Okay, so in the you set your time period up there. In the last 30 days, which is where it's set, I've had 2,807 page views from 1,098 users for an average of 2.35 pages per session and a bounce rate of 8.95%, with 90% of the people that came to the site being new visitors. And I think those are really good numbers. I mean, but my site's been around for probably nearly 10 years, and it's pretty well developed, and it has its niche going, and it has a content strategy that is driving people in who are interested in the topics that I talk about. So it's taken a lot of work to get there, but I'm really happy with where it's at. Now, if you want to know the companies that have been visiting your website, you can, I'm going to switch screens here because I already had this set up. Go down here on the left to see Audience, Technology, Network. Click on Network, and that will open up this screen, which will show you. So this is in the last month, I think. Yeah, pretty much. It shows how many sessions. No, I might have set it to a week. I'm not sure, but you can up top there set it to the time period you want to see. Just starting out, maybe you want to look at the last month, but then once you get things caught up, maybe you'll only want to look at the last 2 or 3 days, in order to add any new leads that come about. And a lot of the leads that you're going to see in here are internet service providers. And, if you're a business to business, you're going to end up, the useful data you get is going to be on companies that have their own domain, that handle email and everything through that domain, and that surf from the web from work through that domain. If you're a B2C seller, consumers are all going to come in on Charter Communications, localized service providers like Penn Teledata, which is mine, Time Warner Cable, and Frontier and such. Okay, so those aren't really going to be helpful. However, if you keep, like for example, right here we have 150, this is the last month, 152 pages with 10 results on each page. You can set that, how many rows you want to see, and then we're on page 1 of 100, results 1 to 10 of 152 results. So there's a lot of pages and a lot to sift through in the last month for me, and there probably would be for you too. But like I said, you can reduce the effort needed there by just changing the date range to something more manageable. So anyway, and I went through them all. I'm not going to do that here and bore everybody to tears. But I did see all of the leads that Leadfeeder was showing me in my Google Analytics results. And they can be some very good companies like Air France, for example. I just run through St. Vincent Hospital. Someone from there visited my website. So that might be a good potential client for me. These would be my potential clients, not specific to you or your business, because in that case they would probably be more in line with your business. Air France, sure. I think this could have been somebody on the Air France public Wi-Fi server too. I'm not sure, but I think so. Road Schwartz, which makes test and measurement equipment. There would be a good one. Florilli Transportation, a trucking company. There would be another good one because we have a lot of experience in the transportation business, and we can design effective web presences for transportation companies. I just went through a couple. Zscaler, data security. Okay, there's another good one we could contact. Spark New Zealand. I didn't really go into this that much, but it's kind of interesting. It's the other side of the planet. It's New Zealand. Why not? That'd be fun, right? Okay. SHL Group. It's a SHL Pharma. They make pharmaceutical equipment like syringes and such. And so it's not like an online pharmacy. It's like pharmaceutical equipment. And for me, that would make them a viable potential client. I don't really like online pharmacies as clients because there's a whole lot of work to try and even make that work on the web. But anyway, that was what I wanted to go over with you today, is just to give you a way to get some free business-to-business sales leads right from your Google Analytics without having to pay anyone else if you want to. If that isn't what you want, then there are companies like Leadfeeder, which will give you a little bit more structured version of the same data and potentially make it a little easier. That's totally up to you. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks. Hey, this is Mike Johnston, and today I want to talk to you about YouTube live streaming versus Facebook live video. There are a lot of similarities, but there are some important things that you should be aware of before you decide to utilize them. Why would I think you're going to utilize them? Well, I think a lot of people are going to,
simply because I see this happening every day, especially on Facebook Live.